Hi guys, I'm going to show how to install new rubber on existing glass and then putting the existing trim back onto the glass, which is basically this. Initially I tried this on another middle window on a 71 bus, and I followed a couple different suggestions to use either WD-40 or silicone on it. The WD-40 ended up being couldn't keep the rubber on the glass since this is already not pre-formed around these edges, so it's an issue. So the easiest way to do is put the rubber on, use blue painter's tape to keep it around these corners here, because it wants to slide off the glass. Excuse me. And then it's actually pretty easy. Then unfortunately these are already shaped this way since they're existing, and I don't know how you do it new. I actually haven't watched any videos on how to do new ones, so I don't know if the new ones actually come pre-shaped or not. So that's a good question if they do or not. I don't know. Anyways, again, this is the driver's side middle glass. And again, I'm not going to use any silicone or anything on the rubber. So again, there's the center piece here, and then the outer groove for the aluminum trim that goes on the deluxe buses. So simple enough is just start on the flat end of the glass. And again, I tried this with using the silicone, actually the WD-40, and the rubber just ends up slipping right off the glass. So that's definitely a problem. This way the rubber is getting a bite on the glass since it's dry already. All I have to do is work it on inside the channel. These are West Coast metric rubber, by the way. I think you can get the Brazilian, which I heard is not the best to use. Again, I don't know where the West Coast metric is getting their rubber, but again, this goes a lot quicker if you use silicone, but again, then I couldn't because I did try silicone first. I tried the silicone actually on the windshield the second time I did it, but I ended up buying a new windshield, and I left it leaned up against something and it broke. So I have a new windshield coming again. It broke before I even got to install it. So, dropping more money into it. And the reason I pulled all these out was I had the headliner replaced. by somebody else. They did the headliner on my bus, which requires the windshield and the 3 rear side glass and one of the driver's side middle window to be pulled out. So the issue is keeping this actually all the way down in its position, because even though you push it in here, it keeps on wanting to pop out. So what I found, kind of with some trial and error, well, actually I spent probably, who knows, good couple hours last night trying to get it to work. I should have kept the other one. I have the other one over on another area. Anyhow, I'm actually doing this on both sides, on the outside and the inside. So you get it right next to the groove, and you push it on. And you're basically doing that most of it all the way around the glass, because when you put in the aluminum trim, you're basically pulling on this outer portion to get the C channel to drop into the groove. So you can either, the key is getting it all the way up to the edge of the rubber, pulling it away a little bit, and then pushing, making sure that the rubber is seated all the way down into the glass. Actually, that one's a little too long there, but that way it doesn't back off. Again, the edges keep wanting to pull off. Now I can try this side. Easiest way again is get your thumb in there. Actually, this is actually going much quicker after on the first one I tried, since I had already used the silicone and all this WD-40, I had to try to clean up the rubber seal. Actually, this one needs to come. I'll have this one seated all the way at the end. It's not straight, at least. But if you use anything else, the rubber does not stick to the glass, and that was definitely an issue. I think actually installing the glass with silicone spray into the channel of the glass will make a big difference, though, on the installation of the window and rubber. So if you can see, even though I started on the front side, this is still popped up. So I did it on the inside and outside. And again, at least to get the new trim in is the main thing, because you do have to pull on the rubber seal to try to get the aluminum C-channel into the groove. Because this at least gets your right shape on the corners, and that was the most difficult thing. Again, what I was dealing with when I had it using the WD-40, it just was not staying in the glass around the properly seating. This way it definitely seats right. So I'm still able to push it in, and it's still pulling out of the corner there. And it is a good idea to do the straight portion, because you still have to move the outer portion of the seal to get that even on the straight part. Looks like I got a scratch. I don't know if that was already there or not, but must have been. There you go. Again, when you're basically putting these in, this one goes in last, well, second to last. You're basically pulling on these outer pieces here to get it to seat. But what I'll do is do one more piece just on the top here. Because again, you pull outward and it pulls the rubber. It unseats it from the glass. Has been the issue. All right. So now I'm just going to set this approximately the right spot. Okay. So got it in the right spot, so I'm going to take the corner and I'm going to pull on this outer edge, and again, this is the outside of the glass. Got the corner in here, and I'm just going to try to work this corner piece in. By pulling this outer lip away. There, it just snapped in the corner. Just check the overall length, make sure and again, I would not suggest anything in the groove, otherwise it just slips out too easily. This way it's keeping the friction of the dry rubber fully gripping the aluminum C-channel. So that's got one corner in already in, and then you're pulling this away. All right, so this top portion is in all the way down to the side, and now I'm working on the ball. Well, actually, this is the bottom. Now I'm working on the top. This is the reverse of the one I did earlier. So just pull on the outer portion of the rubber seal with some pressure to try to get it into the groove. Yeah, and if somebody lets me know, I haven't tried sourcing new aluminum trim. I didn't want to buy any new one. So again, I just wanted to reuse the ones that I had. And there you go. That's completely in, and it's not slipping out. And all I'm going to do is push this in, well, at least attempt it just a little bit, if I can, just to give the corner enough room. This one's a little bit away from the corner. And then we have the straight piece and then two corners. And this is, really doesn't matter which way you put it. Just center it in the glass, start from one end, use your thumb to pull away the outer portion of the rubber seal. And there you have it, that's in. And then the next thing is the corner pieces. You can just crimp them with your fingers a little bit, just if they've gotten a little bit wider. You may have to use a screwdriver to pull the rubber away from the inside of the glass a little bit. it just slipped in, because it slips on the inner side and the outside stays outside of the groove. So there you go. Corners in. Now, starting on the top, just pulling the rubber seal away just a tad on the inside. There you have it. And then I'd suggest probably leaving the tape on for right now and let it set for a little bit. And on the inside, in reality, you could leave the tape. This is a little too long on that portion, but when you put your rope in here, or I guess a lot of people are using, once you get all your rope all the way around, in reality, you could leave the tape on here because it's just going to pull this rubber back to get it onto the flange of the steel flange. But that's it. So that actually works out pretty good, and much more simpler than I was trying to do for the last 4 hours yesterday. So that's it. And now I have 3 more to go.